What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Off Market Operator. Today, you guys, we got a good guest who's in from Tulsa, Oklahoma, down in San Diego, recording on the boat. Logan Haskett. Today, we got into a lot of different stuff: how he built his real estate portfolio, what he's doing with syndication and funds, and also his HVAC company and other things as well. We covered a wide variety of topics and conversation. So, without further ado, let's get right into the show. People don't fail at real estate because they suck. They fail because there's too many ways to succeed. That's why I suggest you focus on the most important skill in all of real estate, which is finding deals. I'm Ruud-Johnson, and in this podcast, I share the exact steps I've used to source 400 deals by age 24. This will allow you to do three things: control your deal flow, make unlimited income, and build your empire as an off-market operator. Well, man, welcome to the show, bro. We've gone back a little bit on Twitter. Obviously, neither of us know a ton of stuff about each other other than what we see online.
Yeah.
So this will be a fun one, man. You're in from Tulsa, Oklahoma?
Yep.
Okay, a little different.
Yeah. We don't ride horses to work, just by the way.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. So, man, you were in San Diego. Obviously, we're sitting on the boat in the ocean with the sun around us, so there's not many places you can find like that. And you lived in San Diego, right, for a while?
Yeah. I lived in San Diego for about 9 months.
Okay. And tell me, man, this is primarily a real estate show. Tell me kind of your college age into early adulthood, what got you into what you were doing out here, into HVAC, and then into real estate. What did that journey look like?
For sure. So I've pretty much worked like every shitty trade job you can imagine. I was just in the wrong areas of life for a lot of part of my life, and so that kind of led me to the trades, unfortunately. And so I ended up being an HVAC tech. It was kind of the path to the highest paying trade job you could get. So I did that for a while, and then I just realized like I was in my young 20s and my body was like already breaking down from the work. So, but I've always heard of real estate. I knew wealthy people were in it, and I knew that was like the path to wealth. So I was always interested in reading about it. And I saw one of my buddies back home in Kansas City, and he was posting like, $20,000 checks, and I was like, dude.
Was he flipping or wholesaling?
It was wholesaling, yeah.
Okay.
So I hit him up, I said, what are you doing? He said, wholesaling. So I started to look into that, and basically that got me my first mentor in real estate, and I built a wholesaling company. We went all the way to nationwide, and I exited my portion of the company a couple years back. So
that was so much like my beginning of my journey. I was trying to be a real estate broker, and all of a sudden I went on Instagram. I remember I was at Applebee's with a buddy of mine, and he played football at University of Washington, and I was showing open houses being a broker. And I go on Instagram, sitting there, and this kid who we had met had like a $40,000 check on his Instagram story.
Yep.
He's like, all I do is wholesale a house. So I'm like, man, I know that kid.
Yeah.
And if he can make that happen, I can definitely figure this thing out.
Exactly.
And so cool. You saw the check. You kind of parlayed you into real estate. What was your first deal? Like, did you go and buy a single family house? Did you do a flip? Was it a wholesale? What was your first actual deal that you did in real estate?
So my first deal is kind of unique. It was a wholesale deal, but I sold it as a contract for deed to the buyer. So I lined up the financing between the seller and the buyer, which was super funny because I was super green in real estate. So I had literally no idea what I was doing when it came to terms or anything like that. And but it was just a small $2,500 fee. It was a house up in North Tulsa, which
was proof of concept, right?
It was proof of concept.
Yeah.
House in North Tulsa, kind of like the no-go zone for most people. But I found a seller that was willing to just let his house go for what he had into it, and found a buyer. And it was pretty funny, man, because the buyer was, kind of making fun of me, like, hey, do you need me to draft up the contract? And I was like, yes, please, because I
didn't know. You didn't know shit. That's so funny. That's what I tell people too. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know contracts and all this. I'm like, if you find a deal,
exactly,
you're gonna be able to find someone that not only will help you, but will buy the deal.
Yeah,
from you, right?
No,
how'd you find that deal?
Dude, that was actually, I think it was some sort of family friend, because I was really trying to get my first wholesale deal. And it was just kind of a random thing where someone had mentioned, hey, I know a kid that is investing in real estate. And then so I called him, and he was like, yeah, I just want what I have into it. He had some other projects going on, and so I just put a contract on it and sold it. So It's literally like a word of mouth kind of deal.
How'd you find the buyer? Was he the buyer?
I found the buyer on Facebook, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just got after it. How
Yeah.
long ago was this?
This was it's July, so it's like exactly 4 years ago. Now.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do your first deal, you did a $2,500 check, and I actually had another guy on a show this morning too, very similar, where he's like, his first deal, he didn't make a ton, but it was that proof of concept.
Yeah.
Do you think that deal would have been worth more if you knew more, or do you think that was just kind of what the spread was?
No, that was what the spread was.
That's the average deal size in Tulsa?
No. Up there, yeah, for sure. Because I mean that we're talking like I don't. Are you familiar with the show First 48?
No.
Okay, it's like a homicide show. They're in Tulsa all the time.
Yeah.
And
I figured all the homicide shows were in Tulsa.
They are, yeah, pretty much. But that neighborhood is. I mean, on the way to check out the house, I'm not even shitting you. I was driving my truck through North Tulsa, and I turned on the street to go to the house, and these two ladies stopped my truck and just started throwing hands in the middle of the street. Like I couldn't even go anywhere; they were blocking the road, fighting. So that's what kind of neighborhood it is. But
dude,
that's
sounds like a fun time.
yeah.
So okay,
Yeah.
you get that first deal, man. And I know that first deal, at least for me, it kind of broke my brain, and it kind of shows you, man. This is, no matter what the amount is, $500, $2,000, $5,000. My first deal was $105,000, but it was in Seattle, Washington, so a little different market.
Yeah.
But what did that like? You know, how did that parlay into your next deal or continuing on that path?
Yeah. So, actually, dude, the funny thing about me is, I remember I called my dad and told him that I had done my first deal, and he was super happy. And
no, you did that. What's this thing? What kind of drug did you sell?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I remember I was disappointed, almost, because it was only $2,500. But I'll never forget what my dad said to me. He said, "You realize most Americans never make $2,500 on the side ever in their entire life." Because at that point, I was still an HVAC tech, and so from that point.
Yeah, it's real.
I'm just bad at gratitude, though, in general.
Well, I think entrepreneurs are, man. Like I think we all get so disconnected from what a dollar is.
For sure.
And the fact that
especially 60%
of Americans don't have $1,000 for an emergency. We get so disconnected.
Yeah.
Because that's business, and you're always looking for the next thing. But yeah, I think that's a.
But my next like couple deals, I think it had to be my second or third. I actually ended up having an investor in my town, a pretty big investor, kind of screwing me over, which is super unfortunate. But he gave me like a list of like 4 rent houses that he had that he said, "Hey, I'm willing to let these go." And I said, "Well, I need to get a contract on them." And he said, "I'll take care of you." And, I'm thinking this guy's a reputable investor. I can trust him. I'm expecting at least, a couple grand fee here and there. Well, I ended up selling all of them within 45 days. And went to his office to pick up a check, and he gave me $500 each house. So
40. How many houses?
For 4 houses.
So $2,000.
Yeah. So I got burned real fast in business. I learned very quickly the importance of having a contract. Yeah.
You're
that one's
expecting a $10,000 check.
And at that point, dude, I'm broke because I quit my job because I'm like, this real estate thing is real, right? And
yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm done. I'm a millionaire in a year from now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dude, so you get burned by this guy. You show up to his office, he gives you $2,000.
Yeah.
$500 a house. Okay, you're still making progress.
Still making progress.
When did you say you had a real estate company? Like, how did it go from I'm doing deals, making a couple $100 here and there to, when was your first big, like, meaningful check in real estate?
Yeah, that was probably like my 6th or 7th deal.
Wholesale?
Wholesale. Okay. Yeah. For like the first 2 years, I was strictly wholesaling. Okay. But I ended up meeting my partner, and he sold to one of my buyers that told me this crazy, title story. It was just a whole big mess. And so we ended up going out to dinner one night, and we were like, dude, why don't we just team up and kind of take the Tulsa market by storm? So we ended up doing that, and that's when we really started to crank and, land bigger checks, start getting like 40, 50 pops, 80 pops, and but that's when we built a real estate company.
Okay. And were you guys flipping together, or what was the plan?
No, we had bought a couple deals together in Kansas and Missouri, eventually, but we weren't ever flipping because we scaled our company to a nationwide wholesale company. We were actually one of I know you use Investor Lift, and we were one of their first customers. But we were strictly wholesaling, and
Nationwide.
And I was buying more on the side, and that's why we ended up parting ways, is because I think that I just grew bigger than what that company was, and we had two different entire visions. I never even really wanted to go nationwide wholesaling. It's brutal. Yeah, you know how it is.
No, we don't do nationwide.
Yeah,
I tell people it's like, I think the compounding you get from knowing your market and becoming the player in your market is so much more meaningful long term than picking off low hanging fruit in different states.
I agree, dude.
So you got into a partnership. You guys made some money together. You guys kind of grew different ways.
Yep.
What tends to happen at this point is people tend to either go into a different industry or they just shut down altogether. So after you split with your partner, for whatever reason, did you continue flipping or you continued to wholesale? What was next?
I continued to wholesale here and there just from deals that I was passing up on, but I just went straight like buy and hold mode, like just went hard, and that was kind of my vision anyways. I never got into real estate to wholesale real estate. I got into real estate to own real estate. So that was, wholesaling was just the perfect vehicle for me and my story to get into to being able to do that. So.
And were you, I guess when you're buying and holding, were you sourcing your own deals?
Yes, yeah.
What did that look like? What kind of system did you, for people that are listening, what kind of system did you set up and have? Was it cold callers you had running, or what were you doing?
Cold callers, a lot of SEO stuff, like intake forms. That was really big for us. And, we just we white labeled Go High Level, built our own system.
Okay, your own CRM.
Own CRM, and, had tons of drip campaigns. And like, I find it funny because people on Twitter talk about marketing a lot. No, we did some serious, like we're sending text every day to the same lead, like multiple times a day.
Oh yeah.
They're getting an email, they're getting a call, like we're hammering people. And that's how I ran it for a long time. But now I don't even necessarily, I do generate my own leads, but mostly I buy from wholesalers, and they keep me pretty stacked at this point. So.
And how do you build your brand in your market to be the guy that like those wholesalers bring their deals to?
You just got to be a reputable buyer. I always say you just want to make friends with everybody. That's kind of my advice to people is make friends with everybody. I think wholesalers sell to me other than even if an investor is offering more, just because they like me more, and I find that to be true a lot, and I can kind of just close a wholesaler in
as much as you can closing a seller.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's funny what happens, man. When you're in the game long enough and you build enough of a reputation, you become the person that people bring deals to. So from real estate, you've also gotten into kind of other parts of small business, right? Like why and how did you kind of take the route of going from an HVAC tech that you used to do back into HVAC and running an HVAC company? Like what prompted that? Why not stay in real estate? Kind of give me a rundown of that.
Yeah, man, I just, I don't know. I guess it's the kind of entrepreneur thing at heart. Maybe a little bit of, what do they call that? Like golden spoon syndrome or whatever the hell. Yeah. But no, I just can't, my brain just doesn't stop thinking about growing, a portfolio of businesses. So, and I already knew the HVAC business, and I have a great operator in that business that handles the day-to-day.
So did you buy that business? Or
no, we started it up, yeah.
You started it together?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Was he a buddy you worked with back in the day?
Yeah, we actually went to HVAC school together.
Okay.
So, and we had always talked about it in school, hey, we want to open our own company one day. So it was just kind of something we continued to talk about for a long time. He ended up moving back. He moved to Denver out of school, and he moved back to Tulsa, and so we started going to the gym together. And he was working for a big company in Tulsa, and he kept saying the numbers that they were doing. And I'm like, I think one day I was like, dude, I'm tired of hearing what your fucking company's doing. Let's start one, because these numbers are insane. And so, Oklahoma's hot, so it's a great HVAC market. So.
How hot is Oklahoma right now?
Dude, like 115 at least, yeah.
Like every day?
Dude, yeah. It gets up to 105, 106, but the humidity is like 60, 70%. so it cranks, dude.
Is
It's
there
awful.
lakes and stuff?
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of water. It's a big lake town, but
Dude,
we spend a lot of time at the lake. Yeah.
That is gnarly, man.
Yeah, dude. It's not.
So
not
what
ideal.
does the HVAC company look like? Like, what do you? And is your goal? Are you dumping cash from that into real estate, or what is the goal there?
Yeah. So we're actually probably going to do some unique stuff with it and real estate wise, but right now we have 2 full-time techs, and we have 3 or 4 1099 guys that'll help us on installs and stuff like that. But we've been open for 6 months now, and we've done 100,000 in revenue. We're doing 40,000 this month. So I mean, for a first-year company, we're kind of killing it. But right now we're actually hiring out a lot of the operations, like SEO stuff, Google ads, Facebook ads, incoming calls, customer service representatives. We're working with a company that's going to hire a bunch of VAs for us, and we definitely started the company a lot different than the typical HVAC industry company does. I mean, we're essentially like a virtual company at the moment. We don't have an office. We probably won't for a really long time until we absolutely have to have a center hub for technicians. Like, we're literally renting out storage units to store equipment right now because it's so much cheaper. And that's how, when I started the company, my whole vision, you learn stuff from doing other businesses, because at the end of the day, foundationally, businesses are the same.
Especially wholesale. Wholesaling is a brutal business to run, right?
And it's high overhead.
The sale is such a hard sale.
Yeah.
People only sell 2 houses in their life.
Yep.
It's constant turn. Like, every deal, like, you don't get referral business.
No.
It's hard to build any kind of like meaningful team around it, especially sales team, because the sale's so hard. So I mean, 100%. Yeah. It's the wholesale. If you can come up in the wholesale real estate game and you can truly build, 6-7-figure company that way. Yeah. And you go into a different industry, it's a very it's eye opening.
Yeah. Well, wholesaling definitely taught me how to stay lean because of the high overhead and high expenses, and yeah, I mean, you run a wholesale company, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. But no, to your point, dude, like, even, I know wholesaling is hot, it'll always be hot, but what you said is 100% true. Wholesaling real estate is 1% of the real estate market, and that's what people don't get.
Less than 1%.
I'm talking like a true wholesale deal, not like 90% of the shit that you get in your inbox. Like a true good wholesale deal.
Yeah.
Like,
good deal.
Like less than 1%.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man, that's such a good point with, I had John on the podcast earlier. That's a lot of what he told me. I had a meeting with him a while ago, and he was like, Cole, like, I don't think you understand. Like, you go in any other business, you build a couple $1 million a year in a wholesaling business. Like, you go into any other business. It's true, because I have a call center now that we're well over 200 staff now from across from our callers and stateside team. Nice. It's just such an easier business to run, man. Like, it's recurring revenue, everything compounds. It's easier sale. It's easier servicing. Like, so your plans to stack a bunch of cash with HVAC then, and continue to buy and hold.
Yeah, and even, and
I guess you can talk about your fund too that you're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. But with the HVAC company, it does get slow during the winters because furnaces just don't break as often. And, our winters are kind of weird. They're either mild or super cold. We'll have, a cold snap of 2 weeks, and then it's kind of mild the rest of the winter. So, but we've even talked about, like, hey, what's the best tax break in the world? Real estate. Well, when winter rolls around, why don't we just start buying real estate, putting our techs like as contractors on the actual houses, having them flip the houses, so we can at least keep them busy. But we'll see how the winter months go. But summer's definitely the time where you make a lot of your money for sure.
Seasonal.
And we have long summers, so it's pretty much always hot.
Summer out there?
Man, it won't get cold till the end of November, probably.
So you got like May to November.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, we got like year-round summer here.
Really,
like summer's like July through October, where it's like 80 degrees every single day, even down by the beach. So awesome. Thanks, guys, for hanging out for the last hour or so here with Logan and I talking about real estate. He started in wholesaling and has spanned out to do some super cool things that I think a lot of you guys will get value from. So as always, wherever you consume this, YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Please follow us, subscribe to us, give us a like, a comment, a share on your story. It means the world. And reach out if you guys have any suggestions, comments, or guests you want to see on the show. And as always, as I always say, you are only one deal away.